Hey BookTube, this is Greg from Coffee/Books. I hope everyone's doing well today. I just wanted to do a non-haul book haul. I have a bunch of books that I've acquired over the past few months, and I've been meaning to either read them and I haven't, or I started to read them and I didn't continue, or they're in my to-be-read pile. The reason why I want to film a video of them to share with you guys is that sometime in the next 6 months I'm going to have to move countries, depending on my job. So it could be in a week or two that they tell me I have to leave, or it could be in September. So between now and then, I kind of have to downsize my stuff, which unfortunately is mostly books that'll have to go. So I'll either donate them or give them to friends or whatever, before I depart the country. Um, so I wanted to share these with you before they're no longer in my hands, and I want to read them, of course. So first, I'm going to start with books from Library of America. It's an organization that I became familiar with years ago. One of my coworkers, one of my clients actually introduced them to me. They're like, I guess they're like a nonprofit that specializes in preserving American writers. And recently they had this thing where you can become like a member if you donate through a donation, and you get like all these discounts, and they send you free books and all this stuff. So, and the books are really high quality. So this is what I got. I haven't opened it yet, as you can see. This is from becoming a member. Um, it's Wendell Berry's Port William Novels and Stories: The Civil War to World War II. I know nothing about this person, um, but there's no time like the present to start reading it and just explore what there is to offer in these books. They have all kinds of books, and poems, which I also have Gwendolyn Brooks, book of poems. Everything's really nice, high quality, hardback, and they're not expensive. They're cheaper than like going to Barnes and Noble and picking them up, and I think they offer free shipping. So if you want to check it out, I think it's loa.org. I'll look it up and put a link in the description box if you're interested. I'm not affiliated with them. I'm just saying I like supporting those kind of organizations. So those are two books I have from them. The next is, I used to belong to one of those subscription boxes for books called Call Number, and it was, when it first came out, I was really excited for it, but I was on the wait list. It's an African American librarian. She made subscription boxes for new Black literature, and like the theme was like library theme, so all the other stuff that was included in addition to the book was like library stuff, which I'm a library nerd, so I love that. I stopped my subscription after a few months because it was coming too fast for me to catch up with. I don't know if any of you experienced that with subscription boxes. It's like you feel like you're always getting an email notifying you that a new one's been shipped. So I had to stop it just because I couldn't keep up with it. But I'm excited. I think this is the next book I'm going to read. It's As I Lay Is to Grin. As wow. As Lie Is to Grin, a novel, Simeon Marsalis, and I think this is his first novel. So I want to read that. And then also, I've seen booktube videos about this. Electric Arches, Eve Ewing, a collection of poems. It looks amazing, and I'm really excited to get into that also. And then I think I read this in high school. I picked it up when I was home in the States a couple trips ago, just because I felt like I needed to read more African American literature, especially with everything going on in the U.S. Their Eyes Were Watching God, Zora Neale Hurston, which I'm pretty sure it's required reading when I was in school, but it's been so long I don't remember. So I wanted to reread it. And then the rest are in no particular order. Okay, this book I just bought when I was in Warsaw, Poland, last month. It's Bohemian Hrabals, A Little Town Where Time Stood Still, and I think he's a famous Czech writer. And this, I stopped reading it after the first few pages. I just could not get into it. I'm sorry if that offends anyone, or if anyone's read any of his other stuff, please let me know. The topics seem interesting, all the way from like a boy's childhood in the Austro-Hungarian Empire all the way through communist times in Czechoslovakia. Um, I think the reason I didn't like it is the translation. Maybe this is fairly old. The translation, the English version is just, I don't know. When I'm reading it as a professional translator, not for Czech, I feel like it's the translation that doesn't seem right. Like it's written in some kind of, maybe it's British English or it's Old English, or I don't know. So I couldn't get into it. I'm sorry. I picked it up originally because it was really short, and I was like, oh, I can read it on my flight. And then I just couldn't get into it, so that's that. I saw these here in Moscow. Those like introduction books. I'm trying to educate myself on a bunch of other things, not just what I'm interested in. So when I was in Thessaloniki, Greece last time, I was really interested in Alexander the Great. So this is just a book about him. So that should be a quick read. This I got here again. There's not a lot of books in English in a lot of the stores here. So usually I just pick one that seems interesting and I just buy it and just see what happens. I'm sure this is like famous or something. This is Italo Calvino's. I don't know if you can see it because I'm bad with videos and lighting. In on a winter's night, if on a winter's night, a traveler. I must be really dumb because I read the first few pages and I had no idea what was going on, so I stopped. So again, I'm sorry if that offends anyone. When I was in the airport in Frankfurt last time, I picked up The Shortest History of Europe by John Hurst, and this was, I think, on one of those like top 10 of Europe or top 10 like recommended by the staff that worked at that airport bookstore, which is why I picked it up. Plus, I'm interested in European history in general. I haven't read this, so I'm a bad reader this week. Sorry. So I want to do a video about one of my favorite books, Isabel Allende's Maya's Notebook, which will be coming up hopefully soon. I studied a lot of Isabel Allende when I was in university because I had a Spanish literature concentration. Now I read everything in English of hers because I'm just lazy. So when I was in the States last time, I picked up her The Japanese Lover. I think it was part of Barnes & Noble's like buy two, get two free or buy two, get one free or something. Haven't started reading it yet because, and maybe some of you can sympathize with me, and know where I'm coming from. I have to be in a certain mood to read books about love, just like I have to be in a certain mood to read books that involve food. Like, I don't want to read a book about a famous chef or a cooking adventure if I'm like not eating delicious food while reading it. Just like if you're feeling kind of sad or lonely, like you don't always want to read books about lovers. I don't know how else to describe that. Leave any comments in, in the description below if you think I'm making sense. If anyone else has like reading moods, I could do a video on that. We'll see. I know this is like probably a British classic. I don't know. The Golden Notebook, Doris Lessing. When I was in Copenhagen 2 months ago, I picked it up at one of these really cool bookstores there. I forget the name of it. Just because I think I read the description, I was like, oh, that sounds great. So that's also on my reading list. Here in Moscow, I was surprised. I was at a bookstore, I think a little bit before Christmas time in December, and there was like one of the little bookstores in my neighborhood, not like in one of the big ones that has a lot of English books. They have like 1 or 2 shelves of English books, and they had this new publication of Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass, and it's like published by a publishing house in St. Petersburg, and it's brand new, like the past few months. So I was really surprised by that. I love Walt Whitman. I'm from Philly, and so Walt Whitman is also like romanticized throughout New Jersey and that area. So we grew up always learning about him. So, and I read a couple of them. They're really great. So I just wanted to get this collection. Again, I'll have to part ways with it eventually when I move, but whatever. And the last thing I want to share today is a book I got at one of like the international educational bookstores here. It's mostly like textbooks for university students and language students and stuff like that. But I thought this was interesting. It's an outline of American literature. Again, I've said this probably in my very first video. I am terrible at classic stuff that everyone else reads or watches or knows about, especially with movies. I'm like the worst movie person ever. And I also felt like that way about American literature, because American English is my native language. I'm American. I feel like I don't know a lot about American literature outside of what I love, like Kurt Vonnegut. Like classical stuff, I don't really know much about. I didn't go to a good public high school. It was kind of a joke. And then when I got to university, because I was comparative literature tracked, most of the literature I read was Russian and Spanish. So even then, I didn't really get a good exposure to American literature and writing that I should have. That's also partially my fault. I just wasn't interested in it at the time. So this is kind of like a little textbook outline about the different time periods and influential authors, and it's mixed with historical stuff about American literature. So I thought this was kind of cool. It's from Longman, which I'm pretty sure is like a Pearson Education. So this is like a textbook. It's probably what's used in Intro to American Literature in college. So I figure, well, why not? That seems kind of interesting. So yeah, so those are the books I wanted to share with you guys before these books have to go bye bye. If I read any of them and I really want to make a video about them, I'm going to try to do it. I wish I was making more videos, but it's just like time is crazy. So, thanks for watching. If you watched, leave a comment below. Like I said in my last video, I just finished reading A Little Life, and I was trying to find something new to read, and I still don't know what's going to be next. Like I started reading that checkbook, and I was just like, ugh, I had to stop. So that's going away. And I hope wherever you are, you have a good day and take care. Bye.